Hey everybody, it's Sarah from I Talk to Notebooks, and I wanted to show you guys a little bit about how I do art in my journals because I don't do anything conventional or really particularly that requires a lot of talent, but I do something that makes use of this color system and sort of helps me process things in more of a visual way that doesn't require words. So sometimes you might have a feeling about something or an intuition, but you don't really know what words you want to use to describe it. So this type of art using this kind of color system can be really helpful. So first I'm going to show you guys some examples, and then I'm going to walk you through while I do one here on camera. So this is one of the earliest ones that I've done. It's in the first journal that I use the color code system with. And what this is I actually used some glittery washi tape that I got on discount from Michael's, and I made this weird triangle shape, and I outlined it in black just for decoration, and then I used this purple here, which at the time, dark purple symbolized romantic feelings, and light purple symbolized poetry, so I layered those here, and then on the inside, orange represented awareness and yellow represented anxiety. And what this is supposed to be is a time-traveling portal. So when I wrote this entry, I wanted to go back in time because I was missing my ex, I guess. And so I drew this portal that realizes, like, I'm aware that this is a bad choice and it wouldn't help me to go back. And I'm just anxious and lonely. And I just wanted to go back in time to a specific memory that I had with him. So I drew it like this. And you can see it's really abstract, but it sort of sums up what I wanted and sort of how I envisioned getting my wish. And that's my little time machine, I guess. So here's another example. I don't want to get into too many specifics because it's obviously all really personal, but I drew a syringe here with the caption, "The Gateway Girl," and the subtitle, "Something Better This Way Comes," because I sort of, due to various circumstances, was starting to see myself as a good enough for now kind of person that would eventually people would leave for someone better, because that's something that's happened for me a lot. And you can see the colors here. Purple was still romantic situations, so because I was feeling this a lot in certain dating situations I found myself in, I would use purple to symbolize that as sort of being the thing that was pushing me out of the syringe, and then I was the yellow, anxious person inside the syringe who was feeling trapped and worried about being left and, you know, sort of pushed out and used up and then left for something better. And the syringe itself, the outside of the casing, is sadness, because I felt trapped in my feelings of sadness and couldn't really get out of them. So you see, this is really kind of some, I don't know, hipster nonsense. It's like overly symbolic, taking myself too seriously, but you can also see that the art itself is pretty abstract, doesn't require a lot of talent at all. That obviously looks nothing like a syringe. How would there be, you know, liquid up here if this is pushed all the way down? That's stupid. So it's really more about the feelings than about the visual quality of the art. And then this is something really fun that I did in my most recent journal called the Personae. Ignore this head, it's horrible. But what I did is I drew different versions of myself with different emotions. And I thought it'd be interesting to try different combinations. So this one here is sort of a combination of anger and self-awareness. And I thought that was interesting when you're mad, but you have enough self-awareness to know that you shouldn't be mad, and that's something I experience a lot. So I sort of captured that not only in the colors, but I try to capture it in her facial expression, in the way her hair kind of just lies there instead of doing something crazy. Just like kind of her calmness, but also the fire in her eyes. So that's sort of a combination of emotions I experience a lot. And then here we have, this was still romantic situations at the time. So romantic situations, sadness, and anxiety. And I was just finding those three things would like crop up together a lot. And like anxiety was really starting to take over, so that's why I would put the eyes there in yellow. And I just sort of wanted to draw that as sort of how I imagined those emotions would manifest themselves. And then finally, this one here, she's the happy one. She's a combination of wishes and goals, and then where those intersect, and she makes her wishes into goals, and you can see that in her hair. And I sort of drew her with sort of a rebellious hairstyle, because this is the kind of person who takes what she wants. So the thing with these personae, as I call them, is that they allow me to view different representations of how I might see myself or see other people when they experience different combinations of emotions. And it's kind of like trying on a new hairstyle or new clothes, like just experimenting with how different emotions might interact when you're feeling them and like grouping them together. And I don't know, sometimes if you're going through something hard, or if I'm going through something hard, I can picture myself as one of these people and sort of as one of those characters, and it makes me feel a little more in control of the situation. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I found it to be really cool and helpful. So that's my last example. Okay, so here's my blank page and the date's at the top, and I'm going to do my drawing here. Before I get started, I want to tell you what I'm thinking of behind the drawing, so I'm just going to ramble a little bit for a few minutes. I really enjoyed the TV show The Office. It's one of my favorite shows. I'm rewatching it for the 3rd time this summer. And one thing that I did not notice about the show that came up on a Facebook office group I'm a part of is that pretty much everyone in the show has cheated or been involved with cheating in some way, which just sort of blew my mind because all the characters are so lovable that you wouldn't think of them as doing such an immoral thing. And the reason I realized that this was so surprising, despite me having seen the show 3 times, is that the cheating always seems justified because we believe that certain characters are destined to be together. We see the show as being clearly having a right answer and a wrong answer, and the ends justify the means because the certain characters have to get together, and if cheating is the way they do that, then that's how they do it. And I sort of just thinking about that today made me realize that I've sort of been seeing my own life as sort of a scripted thing where certain things have to be a certain way, and if I don't get it that way by any means possible, then it's wrong, and the ends justify any means I choose to get my, perfect happy ending fairy tale. And that's not true, and real life is a lot messier and a lot less easy to explain than that. So I'm going to do a drawing representing that sort of idea. So I'm going to start with this yellow color, which represents anxiety, but it also represents naivety to me, and innocence, and uncertainty about the future. And this yellow color is going to represent me. And I am going to be an open heart. So what that means is I'm going to draw a heart to be me, my heart. And I'm going to leave it blank on the inside to show that there's room to expand and grow, that I'm about to learn, that I'm not finished, that this naivety is temporary. So there's the yellow heart. It's kind of a difficult angle, actually. So I'm going to get a little more personal. There I go. My weird legs are going to hold this up. So next I'm going to draw the path behind me using this blue color, which represents wishes, or a goal that I don't think is realistic to achieve. And sort of my perceptions of the world as being so patterned as a TV show are unrealistic. So I'm going to use this blue marker to draw a very symmetrical, patterned sort of destiny that I thought I was on. So as you can see, I sort of added some details, really simple, just to make it look symmetrical and to draw sort of connections between matching points to sort of show how I expected everything to line up and to have its equal and opposite partner on the other side. But it's not too complicated. And now I'm going to use this light green pen, which represents more realistic goals and things that are probably going to get done, to draw the path in front of me, which is the realistic, not everyone has a happy ending, not everything is symmetrical, not everything is planned out the way we think it is. And a lot of it is just the part that we get to see, and the rest has to go on faith. So I'm going to start drawing that here. Oh, and another thing, this blue one, all the lines here, these 3, all converge to this point here, which is something else that I think we expect everything to sort of come together to a climax. When in reality, you don't know when your life is going to end. You could just have an ordinary day and die. So I'm going to show that too. Okay, so here I've drawn sort of a dendritic path. I learned that word today for use in a story, and I really like it. So it looks more organic, and it kind of reminds me of a tree or veins, which I think is cool. But you can see that there's no real ending to most of these. There's like little offshoots that don't go anywhere. Some of the stuff you see isn't even connected to the main tree. And there's this little dead end here. And that's just kind of like a more realistic picture of how life is to me. And so finally, to conclude this drawing, I'm going to use this dark green pen, which this time represents learning, to show the border between this perception of reality and this perception of reality. Because that was a definite turning point for me today, was realizing that life isn't a pattern. It's whatever happens, basically. It's whatever, you don't know, you can't predict it. Only God knows. So I'm going to start drawing that now. So here's the finished drawing. I made the dark green look like a fence, because it's sort of a border between two perceptions. Something that has to be climbed, or you have to find a gate, and sort of marks the leaving of one place and the entering of another. So that's pretty much the picture, and I hope you enjoyed the process. See you soon. Bye.